Hello everybody, this is James DaSilva here, and this is another guitar lesson video that I wanted to post for you guys. Today what I wanted to talk about is more diminished harmony kinds of things, the more unconventional approaches to playing diminished chords on the guitar. I think what most people are familiar with are that shape and moving it around, which is fine, and there's not, those are great sounds, but there are particularly the great guitarist Johnny Smith, I think, had a lot of really cool approaches to playing diminished chords, and not just diminished chords, but like his whole approach to guitar. It was very pianistic and very untraditional and very beautiful. So today some of what we'll be talking about kind of centers around that, as well as maybe some things like people George Van Epps does as well. So today let's just start off by focusing on these tube shapes, okay? Now this is an A7 flat 9 chord, okay? And we're using that as just a 3-note voicing for the diminished chord. And we're having our pinky on the 5th fret of the D string, middle finger on the 3rd fret of the G string, and our index finger on the 2nd fret of the B string. Okay, and that's how we're going to be playing that. And then the other voicing we have is on the 3 sets of strings above it, which is this guy. So we're having, this is an A7, that's just an A7 chord, but it's that still that same shape, right? So we have our pinky here, the 6th fret of the G string, ring is on the 5th fret of the B string, and then our index finger is on the 3rd fret of the G string, okay? Now, what you probably already know is that you can move these shapes around and they create a diminished sound. And that in itself is a very pretty thing, and very stylistically true to Johnny Smith's playing. Pretty sound, right? What's really, I think, so cool about these shapes here is that there's so many things that you can derive from them that go beyond just moving them up minor thirds. And there's a lot of great things you can do with that, and also things like where you can where you move him up half whole, like the diminished scale steps. You can harmonize the diminished scale that way. But there's also a lot of other more complex things too. So today, the first concept I'm going to show you is just harmonizing, or using the passing tone in each of these chords. Okay. So we'll start off on this set of strings here. So we have that shape, and you notice my ring finger here is free, right? So what I'm going to do is I'll play the chord, and then my ring finger comes down in the 4th fret of the B string, and I get this sound. And all I'm doing there, this is basically a A7 flat 9 sharp 11. It's like it's almost like an E flat over A. That's what that sound is, okay? But anyway, but you can use that same shape and move it up minor thirds, right? And you can get really cool sounds that way. Okay, very pretty. Okay, so that's the first concept. Well, and also before I move on, also be aware that you can use these on, different sets of strings as well. You can do it there. You can do it on the low sets of strings. So you can do them on all sets of strings. I personally kind of have a hard time using this on the lower sets of strings. Whenever I use concepts like this, I'll always use it here or here, because I think it sings a little better. But it's good to have a full command of the instrument to be able to do these concepts anywhere at any given time. But so for the most part, I'm just going to be using these sets of strings in the top, very top, okay? So in the very top, what you do, this fingering, you replace your ring finger with your middle finger, and now you have your ring fingers free, and then you just hammer down on the 5th fret there, and then you just move that up, minor thirds. Okay, so that's that concept, and I encourage you to try practicing it and playing it in a lot of different keys and different parts of the neck, and really just making it your own concept. Okay, so the second concept I want to talk about builds upon that, and what we're doing now is we are harmonizing this passing tone. We're going to harmonize it with as a minor third. Okay, so basically what we're doing is this. Okay, one more time. Okay, this is very pretty. So now all we're doing here, we're just altering this original shape. So instead of this guy here, what we're doing is we're replacing our pinky with our index finger is barring the D, the G, and the B string. Okay, it's just gonna bar that, and our ring finger will stay the same, but we have that sound. Okay, we start off with that sound, and then we put our ring finger on the 4th fret of the B string, and then our pinky on the 5th fret of the G string. Okay? And then what we're going to do is move that up in minor thirds. And get really good at that. Too, like I just did. Right? And let me just say one thing about my right hand. What I'm doing is I am using my pick as my kind of my thumb, so to speak. And my pick, which I'm holding between my thumb and my index finger, is playing the bass note, and I'm using my middle and ring finger to play those chords. Okay, and that it might take a little time getting used to it. It's basically hybrid picking, but I find that I personally don't. I mean, that's fine too. There's nothing wrong. Whatever floats your boat. But I personally prefer the control that you get from being able to play each note at the same time. And that might also take some time because these two fingers actually don't like play well together. If you've ever played classical guitar, these two fingers are they're hard to make them work in tandem. So, but if you get used to it, it really pays off. Okay. So now you can do this top 2 sets of strings here. We get our pinky to switch off to here, so we're left with that. And then our ring finger is replaced by our middle finger. And then our ring finger will play the string above it, the A, the 5th fret of the E string. And our pinky will play the 7th fret of the B string. So we're left with this. Okay? And then we move that up minor thirds. And this is pretty challenging just because of, particularly when you get higher, you have to really stretch your fingers to make the distance work. It's quite a stretch. Okay? So practice that and experiment and make it your own. Okay? So that's 2 concepts. Now the third concept that I wanted to talk about, number 3, is basically the same thing here, what we were talking about, building off of concept number 2. But now what we're doing is we're harmonizing the bass with it. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so let me play that one more time. also do it on the top sets of strings. Okay, so that's that concept, and let me break down what I just did. Okay, so you start off with, we were doing that voicing there. So now what we're going to do is we're actually going to get rid of the bar and just use index, 2nd fret of the D string, ring finger, 3rd fret of the D string, and our middle finger is the 2nd fret of the B string. Do that guy. And then we're going to basically, our middle finger is going to come way down here. And our ring finger, which is the 4th fret of the A string, ring finger is coming to the 4th fret of the B string. Our pinky comes to the 5th fret of the G string. Okay, so all that together is, and then we move that up minor thirds, the same pattern. Okay, it's a very cool sound. And you can do the same thing up top. And here, basically what you're doing is you're not, well, you can borrow the top 3 strings here. You put your ring finger there on the 5th fret, the B string, which is our E or our 5th. And then we go index, top note. I'm sorry, middle finger, top note, ring finger, 7th fret of the B string, and then our index finger goes to the 5th fret of the D string. And really focus on these fingerings, because I personally, after practicing them a while, I feel that these are probably the most efficient and the best fingerings for moving around. And if you were going to use that, Alright? And so take these concepts and apply them into standards, apply them into different keys, or even just find, your own unique ways of doing them. But this has been, I think that's pretty much covers everything I wanted to talk about today. And so please comment and share it with your friends. I am also available for private guitar lessons in Nashville, as well as via Skype if you're from anywhere in the world. So yeah, I'd love to hear from you guys, and I enjoy doing these things and teaching and talking about the things that I learn. So feel free to comment and subscribe to my video channel. And also, if you have any suggestions for things that you would like me to cover in the future, please just let me know. Okay, thank you. This is James Silva. Take care. Bye-bye.